everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some Golgari. There was a list that got played in Columbus in a Star City Games 10K that went well. It worked out well. There was another list that did a little bit better than this one, but I tried it out in best one. Didn't quite have as much success as this one, and this one was also played by my friend. This one was played by TJ Radizak, a guy I personally know, which is very nice. He's been on the Pro Tour a couple of times, maybe once. I thought he made it twice. I could be wrong about that. But he's been on the Pro Tour, and this is the list that he ended up playing up in Columbus, which was very cool. Talked to him about it and got to get some insight and why he went this way, and we can kind of talk about it a bit here before we hop into the game. So overall, this deck is a massive removal-based deck where our main board is stacked up on getting creatures off the board when we need to, playing 2 cut downs, 2 anoints, and 4 go for the throats, along with 2 virtues of persistence, as we will get to that in a bit because ramp is very relevant in our deck, and 2 harvesters or 4 harvesters of misery, where we can use it as a 2-mana kind of discard, get rid of, and then we can use our Overlord to bring it back to our hand so we can then cast it for 5 later, or continue to cycle it away in a situation where that we have a copy, we cycle it, give a creature -2/-2, attack with the Overlord, pick it back up, and then -2/-2 that thing again wherever it might be relevant. Other than that, we play a Black Sun's Twilight, which is a very interesting card. It is a black and X instant speed spell. Up to 1 target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. If X is 5 or more, return a creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. That is very relevant when we're playing a lot of things that do enter at 5 mana, like a Harvester or an Overlord, for example. If we cast this Black Sun's Twilight for 6, so X is 5 and the black is the additional 6, we can cast this on something like an Atraxa, give it -5/-5, allowing it to have 2 power and toughness left, bring back a Harvester of Misery and get rid of it kind of that way on our opponent's turn. Or we can do something a little bit cooler where Jeskai Convoke is a lot more common of a deck. We use that kind of spot, same situation, against a Knight Errant of Eos, and then we bring back a Harvester of Misery and wipe the entire board, which can be nice. Or we use this Overlord to kind of bring it back as well. Other than that, we kind of have our utility cards in Dreams of Steel and Oil and Duress. Duress we all kind of should know. If you've been playing Standard for a little while, it's just look at our opponent's hand, take a non-creature, non-land card from it, and they discard it. Dreams of Oil being a different card from Brothers War. This card says target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact, a creature card from it, then choose an artifact or creature card from their graveyard, exile the chosen cards. This is a very good piece against the Haughty Gen eyeball decks or any type of reanimator deck where you can kind of look at their hand. You can take the Valgavoth or Atraxa in their hand, and then you can take the one that they've already milled over in their graveyard. You can kind of get rid of one that they might reanimate later if you don't necessarily do it. So even if you know your opponent's hand's empty and they only have 1 reanimate target in that graveyard, you can get it with this card, which is very nice. And then we have 2 Tear Asunders for any option that it would be used for, and then 2 Beanstalks for value. Outside of that, we are playing 2 Preachers, 2 Glissas. Glissa comes up massive in today's video. Too many Archfiends to count. This removing counters to win is very good. So we have the final card I'm going to bring up in Freestrider Lookout. This is what I wanted to do outside of Unholy Annex. This card says whenever you commit a crime, which is if you basically target anything of your opponent's, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tap, put the rest on the bottom of your library, and this only triggers once a turn. And with as many removal spells and stuff we have, we duress them on our turn, trigger this, kill a creature on their turn with an speed spell, trigger this again. So, with that said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games. This is Golgari. It is best of 3. So I'm playing best of 1. This is a best of 3 deck. So there will be a sideboard if you are interested in that at all. Other than that, this felt really, really good outside of a couple of games where we kind of, I don't know how to explain it. You'll just have to watch to kind of see how they go. But other than that, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. This is once again a list played by TJ Radizak in a Star City Games competitive event, not necessarily the Pro Tour or anything, but he's made it once or twice. So let's go ahead, dive in. My opponent goes first. Sure, I guess. Seems like a reasonable keep. Oh boy. Seems like a more reasonable keep now than ever. Just have to hope to maybe find an untapped land, or just hope that their threat on turn 2 is not that devastating. We will see though. Yeah. Untapped land would be great here. for obvious reasons, I think. Yeah, and because it is Boros, we're not going to let them potentially put a protection spell on it. Could be Burn, but we haven't seen anything to suggest that. Burn doesn't typically play the mouse package. They're just like a creature go wide strategy. And I mean, I guess that gives us all the answers we need. Ethereal armor. Just like that, huh? Okay. Well, I think we know what to do here, team. No point in not doing this. Use the white mana immediately, which is kind of baffling. They could have a Shelter by Ghost, so even having like an additional land would be nice. But they hit an additional land as well. We established a Glissa. Now enchantments are really whack because we can always blow them up based on Glissa contact. If they go for a creature, we can always try to establish some removal. I can play this land. I don't think I'm ever going to put my removal down here. I'm going to go for a hit. I'm going to take a draw. Draw for what I feel like is obvious reasons. And a Freestrider Lookout seems fantastic. So let's go ahead and play it down. Because even if I do target a thing, right, I can get some more value. Beanstalk's good, but I think mana acceleration might be just slightly better, especially if we get to open opportunities to attack with this cottage and whatnot. Sure. They realize that they have to find something or they're dead, I think, is the main issue here. And with the cut down available, we're going to bring up this cottage. We're going to attack. And then we're going to exile something, trigger the Freestrider Lookout. And then I don't know if there's a way that we die. I mean, obviously, there's kind of always a way that we can die. And because of that, I guess I should just attack like this. This is 8, 9, 10, 11. So, like, it at no point is lethal here, but it's lethal next turn regardless of what happens. So I guess I should just do every preventable measure to make sure I don't get, this mouse played against me, hasted, attack, double strike, super kill, kind of nonsense, right? Okay. And that's a sign that the game is over. Oh, it's exactly 8. I could have just attacked. I'm sorry. My head, it was like the turn before. I was like, well, it'll be short. I'll have to just hit him with the land again. Obviously, they could also play something to remove it, but they throw a troll out there. They put a Monstrous Rage on the Glissa. But yeah, I thought for a second, and I'm like, well, if they do play this and they have a Monstrous Rage, and with the mana they have, if they have something stupid where they can fling it at us or something, if they're still on it, I always have that in the back of my mind because immediately this is +3. That's yeah, because it's 2 and then the 1 from the roll. This is 6, right? And that's down to 10 if they cast something else because they'll have plenty of mana to do so, like an ethereal armor, and then we're super dead if they were to fling it at us because even prowess triggers again. Oh well. Go first, we have like the removal hand of removal hands, and that's what Golgari is typically known for. Oh, removal hand. Double mulligan from our opponent here. So either aggro or honestly a Haughty Gem pile. A lot of times you'll see do some removal like that. Looks like maybe mono black. With that said, I'm gonna Beanstalk. Give myself more discard options if that's the route we're taking. Hopefully maybe get to one of these virtues. Potentially. Rakdos Demons. Rakdos Outlaws? My hero. Get a draw off that, which is also absurd, by the way. Just the dumbest thing that works. In my opinion, just like 2 mana count for this. Like, just the weirdest rules of engagement I've ever seen. All right. Oh, dude, our opponent's deck's sick. But I gotta bully them. Like, only if they would knew how I truly felt. So this card, that card's super cool on the fact that it says if you have attacked this turn, you can bring a creature back equal to its less than or equal to its power, which would have brought that creature back. That's so cool, dude. Somebody has a deck list for me, please. I want to know. I'm sorry, but I am literally just the removal deck. Like, it is kind of cringe, I'm not gonna lie, what we are, but Mono Red and Boros and things like that have made us this way, and I'm big fan so far. A unique deck at the very least. Unique deck at the very least. It's another card I've never read before. At the beginning of your end step, if you've attacked a turn, you should put it loose to your life unless that player sacrifices an online permanent or chooses to discard a card. Okay. Just another cool card. I could have went for a treasure and done that, I guess. That would have been a game action I could take. Let's Beanstalk here. Looking to draw a ton of cards against this Rakdos stack. We've used a lot of removal already. Let's play this, and honestly, sadly enough, let's just remove that. Might as well defend ourselves. 1 damage isn't going to make all the difference in the world. At least I would imagine. And then we just get to Virtue, and then we get to play their deck, which is cool. Reanimate style cards, which is, or not reanimate, but like sacrifice synergy cards, which is really nice. Maybe they'll have a way to exile our enchantment. Obviously, that's what we're going to go for here. Double draw as well, so it's like more reason than one to go for it. No real reason to play this and just remove this creature when they could have removal. But yeah, kind of a very, like, I don't know. I would argue that game wasn't super entertaining. Like, our deck did what it is supposed to, and that's kind of what we're here for a lot of times. But honestly, just a super cool deck from our opponent. It's just 2/2's vulnerable to everything. X2s are also vulnerable to pretty much everything. Like, this 3-mana card can be hit with a cut down, and that's just not great. But when it's attacked but won't counter on it, just such a cool card. Just need a way to give it haste, you know? But other than that, we'll call it a day there. Alright, a Duress, no green though. But we can always demo field unless they're aggro. I will keep. Find out right away. Cast this has way more value on it, I think. But this just draws cards. This does nothing really. Yeah, I guess I take the Charter Course. Weird situation there for sure. Oh, I get to exile the creature? Super sick. Best part about this card, Dreams of Steel and Oil. You can pick that, and it's the only creature in exiles. I'll read it while it's not their turn. Target member reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. Choose an artifact or creature card from their graveyard. Exile the chosen card. So yeah, we put it, like, obviously we made them discard it, but then we also get to like put it from their graveyard, kind of whatever. No real mana available, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this and just get it out of the way. Obviously they get a blue or a white. They have unsummon available, I guess. But this does limit their mana. And then we can maybe go for a lookout. Maybe we find a cut down or something. Mode 2, they're gonna mill 2 Haughty-Gens and a spell to bring back a Haughty-Gen. You cast that, maybe looking for an extra land or maybe a spell in general. We have no real way to get rid of the card, but if they cast it, which is probably what they'll do this turn, hopefully they don't have the unsummon available. We can obviously go for the throat and remove it. They can bring it back right now. I'm empty-handed. I missed a land, so they know my whole hand is spells, but how effective those spells are, they don't know, obviously. No eyeball, right? Eyeball would actually suck. Yeah, it's three Haughty-Gens and the 4th one's in exile in your top. Wow. Honestly, what a gamer. No. Now everything changes. Oh, no. Oh, no. I guess do this. Return target. Dude, there is no way I'm missing a land drop. I look at the top 5 and there's not another land. What? Oh, that's so annoying. That's so annoying. Going with Anoint because it exiled. Honestly, could have done something like a harvester and then maybe done some weird stuff, but now they have unsummon. It's either it's probably just lose here regardless what happens, I guess. Not hitting a land there was so devastating overall. There's a couple Kioras, very cool. They played 2. And now it's just like what to do here, right? No attack, we hold because these harvesters are pretty good. We give it -2/-2, and then our lookout can actually block. And we don't care if they counter this, right? Because it's like you can unsummon it, sure. Obviously, they go to unsummon their own creature, and then we just remove this one. Technically, the other one was blocked, so it's fine. Maybe they'll have counterspell for this. That didn't do anything. What was that to do? That did nothing at all, actually. That would go to a 4/2. Oh, just enough. All right, here's another lookout. Go ahead. I think they meant to unsummon their own creature, and they just like by proxy did it to us. You know what I mean? But I mean, these lookouts having reach have been very good thus far. Let's try this again. This isn't an ability, so we'll do a cottage here. Oh, you have more ways to bring it back. You've had enough ways to get them in the graveyard, apparently. And there is an Oculus, and there's a Chartacoris pre-Oculus. Weird, kind of. Like not really, but like kind of. Yeah. Look out. Do this now. Another cottage. Moment of truth. Never was going to be a hottie gen, but another eyeball would be pretty bad. Flipping into a Kiora would also be bad, and allowing them to have the mana to dodge my cut down. If it was another Oculus, but like I said previously, the Oculus is actually the hard card to beat here. Kiora is available and now dodges thanks to the recommission, although I still think maybe Hottie Gen was the play. Maybe opting to go for that 8/8, or haven't played Kiora yet, so we want to play Kiora. I do think we're going to fall short of this match without any extra annoyance or anything. This eyeball is going to do work. We just have to take the 5, I believe. Get the Manifest Dread. I can attack with a cottage, I suppose. Looks up pretty good overall. Definitely still going to attack with this. It does commit that crime that we so desperately want to do. I guess I'll do a Hottie Gen. Kioras are legendary. I commit a crime for free, but I can also Surveil, which seems way better. Surveil to the bottom here. And then now, depending on the situation, we might have to block this 5/5. This face down card could be another flyer, so that's interesting enough. Yeah. Go to 1 or sacrifice the lookout. I think sacrificing lookout now makes a ton of sense. Oh boy. We have to find removal. We have a couple of looks. Sorta. I guess Glissa can't really attack, huh? There's another lookout. That doesn't feel great at all. That's still just going to end up being super close to lethal, especially if they find a spell. Harvester. What is even the play? I don't even know. We're just kind of holding on for dear life here. And if one of these other ones happen to just be an eyeball, they have 17 cards left. It is very possible that this is another eyeball. It is honestly way more likely that it is. It is so much more likely that it is. Unlikely now, although not attacking out seems insane. Now I get to sack this food. Honestly, milling them is kind of a win condition in and of itself. Alright. I don't have much else going on, brother. Yeah. I mean, I'm waiting all this time just to rip a land off the top, to be honest. Yeah, it seems about right. Yeah, that's gonna do it. I couldn't remember. I've played so many Golgari decks. I couldn't remember if we had like a copy of Deadly Cover Up or if it was only just like the Harvesters, which would have like popped a lot of the board, but then that's not enough because obviously the Flyers, things like that. But I think overall we played that pretty well. I think hitting like 4 Haughtigens almost immediately was tough, and then reanimating them all was kind of hard to beat. But okay. Opponents first, sure. Pretty good card overall. Most likely outside of just like blue-white control that they'll have a creature of some kind or an artifact, weirdly enough. Even control sometimes have an artifact, so it's probably fine. Trying this. Give it the old go. We don't have to do anything like sack demo field to get our kind of lookout in play on turn 4. Sure. Take a look. Deep Cavern Bat, Nowhere to Run is a Magic the Gathering card, but I think this... Oh, of course you're a 3. I guess we get rid of this, and now we need to find a Tear Asunder for that. That card is pretty much unbeatable for us. Just a weird thing to say. Duress will do it. The Nowhere to Run, don't really care about. The only card I do care about is this Unholy Annex overall. Pause was the Nowhere to Run. We'll play this. Demo field don't matter. Fountainport does, though, I guess. Should I wait to see if I have a way to commit a crime when I play this? I guess I could. Because, like, what's their turn going to... Liliana? Oh, no.
A fight?
That's such a good draw here. Who would have thought Liliana the Veil can win the Magic the Gathering game? What do they get rid of? I guess with the Lily in play, they probably get rid of the... I would say the Nowhere to Run. And force them to sack this turn, which they have double sack available. I mean, I guess I force that. Since they don't have removal right now, they might just go for land this minus keep this card, depending on what it is. Obviously, I don't know what it is, but we're gonna have to find land, maybe Tear Asunder this or something. I think, can Anoint get it? I think it's 3 on planeswalkers or creatures. But Anoint can technically hit Liliana as well. Yeah, they had to think about it. So I think that tells us their last card's not necessarily that great. Oh, what was the decision about? Oh my god. Why did we think so long? Yeah, I'm just good, bro. Get me out of this game. Alright, opponent goes first. We will attempt to keep this in, I think. Kind of have interaction immediately. Blue-black, most likely, based on how the format's been, is like a demon-style deck, but we'll look. There's a Deep Cavern Bat. There's a Fairy Mastermind. Mastermind I don't really care about. I don't necessarily draw too much. Deep Cavern Bat is like slightly annoying, I guess. This does exile the card. I guess Preacher is the only one I can't answer, so I'll just get rid of Preacher. It's technically like this next turn kills it. This next turn kills this Deep Cavern Bat, so I don't really have to worry about it. And this has reach. So unless they find removal when I play this Freestrider Lookout, like it can just block all day. You can't pick my card. Nope. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Nope, 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 nope. Dude, what if that actually worked? Could you imagine? If like you shuffling your hand around made it like where you actually did it to your opponent. You take the Lookout? Sure, my guy. I'm going to play this Blooming Marsh. I know it gives them my whole hand information, but I feel like I have to. This is a free removal of a Deep Cavern Bat. But this can also be that. I'm not entirely sure I care. I kind of do. Do this. This land's tapped, so like Tidebinder can't stop that from happening. I get the card that they kind of wanted to answer out. I go this, and I go with Preacher here instead, at least in my opinion. I know this has reach and could technically do something to this, but this dodges... I guess they both dodge guys down. It's not a 2-3. I keep forgetting what this thing's power and toughness is. A lot of cards like this that I play with are like Dryad of the Elysian Grove, so they're like 2-4s. Especially like lately, that's kind of the cards I've been playing with. So every time I see that, I'm just like, huh, weird. Weirder. Is -X, -X. I do make a lifelinker here. I have a lot of kind of removal that's sweet. Oh, we have to worry about the like annex and things. Weird champ. I attack. Gain an ever so slight amount of life. Then we just pass. I could technically just commit a crime for free off this if I play the Lookout and just pay a black mana. This land can come up all at once. I'll just block my 1/1. Sure. There goes a Tear Asunder, which was technically an answer to this. Just like flyer here. We do have answers, especially this Anoint can just exile this land next turn, so we might hold... Actually, I don't even think I hold that back. Ever so slightly, huh? Alright. 2, we'll go to 1. We're at ever so slightly alive here. Oh, that's so annoying. But I guess I still get to answer the Reef if they don't think about it. Oh, this is only creature, by the way. So now I feel way less, like, conflicted about that Liliana game. Where I kind of just threw it away a bit. Or where I just, like, kind of picked him up. Because I was like, oh, Anoint might be able to answer a Planeswalker. It was never relevant because Jace kind of always dodged it. I didn't think it could. But when it's a part of the set that turns Planeswalkers back... Why is my camera blurry, bro? Oh, I hope this hasn't been blurry for the entire time. I haven't looked once. Dude, the focus just randomly, if it's on auto on this camera, it just like locks on something else and just figures itself out. Like, I don't know why. Hopefully it's not been that way this entire time. That'd be kind of annoying. You have to attack with the Archfiend. You actually don't have a choice, I think. You don't. This one? Sure. So here's the thing, right? Do I not just like pass? That goes to 1, and then on their upkeep they lose unless they find the removal right here. I'm pretty positive they find removal or they die to their own Archfiend because they didn't attack with it and give themselves a chance. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what they wanted me to do is swing the Preacher and kill it, but I'm not giving you an get out of jail free card there. Oh man, if my webcam's blurry the whole time, I'm sorry. I do constantly look over there. Forgot I restarted my PC, so the auto camera function was on. It turns on automatically by default, but hopefully it's not been blurry forever. We go first. Hopefully we find a land. But we do have 3 2-mana two 2-mana spells and a Duress in this hand, so I think I'll keep quite a bit of lands, because obviously when you're playing a creature that wants to hit a ton of lands, you kind of play a lot of lands, right? But that land hit, what do we do? Into black, man, I kind of want to Duress and take this Unholy Annex. Wow. Like Golgari, you're going to fight the mid-range matchups all day, apparently. And Deep Cavern Bat's going to have a lot to look at. We see a cut down, so I can play all my creatures because they all conveniently enough dodge cut down. And then we play Glissa, and the reason you play Glissa is because if Archfiend is in hand, right, and they ever play it, and you hit them with Glissa, as you see our opponent removed it conveniently enough, if Glissa ever makes contact, we remove all the counters, and they lose the game instantaneously. It's a very cool Glissa mechanic. Now we get to play Preacher. We can attack, kind of do this whole, like, make dudes type thing. This isn't really relevant against us. I don't even know if we have a ton that dies to that. I mean, obviously 5/5, obviously a 5/4, like kind of weird oddball stuff like that, maybe. Combat. Here. Make a little dude. Make a little doodad. Honestly, I might just be looking to play these over anything else. So I guess I just play another Cottage. I just wait. Also, I don't think I'm opposed to playing like the Harvester on a Steep Cavern Bat and then playing the Glissa and then making them figure it out, or playing this and then picking the Harvester back up. It seems pretty good. Yeah, I think that's my route here. Actually, we wait till end step. Or no, I like our life total being the same for Harvester or Preacher reasons. So even if they do Deep Cavern me again and take this Glissa, they're like not putting a 4-drop into play. And then this gets to attack and draw a card and make a 1/1 because we're both at 19. They opt for a Preacher. Now we have a decision to make. I don't think they play Preacher unless they have an answer to Glissa. But I can also see if they're wanting to trade it freely. Let's take a look. Would you like to trade that or not? In other cases, I'm down to do the, like, last game, for example, I was fine letting Archfiend lose the game for him. But here, I'm not necessarily because of how our kind of game plan is. That goes down, and unless they do something crazy, again, I'm kind of okay with leaving this Archfiend around. If they try to Duress me first, I'm going to Tear Asunder this. Alright, so they're holding up the cut down. Do I let the 6 hit and then attack out? Maybe? Because once again, like, I have some life to gain. I play this, I pick up Harvester again. With this in play, I can technically die to like a Rush of the Dread next turn, so I think getting rid of this might actually be better. I know I understand it takes 6 here, but I think Rush of the Dread killing me is also bad. Because sure, I answered the Archfiend, but then what happens, you know? Let's get that exile out of the way. I know we're taking a big chunk here. This will go to 2. We're at 12. We go to 6. It goes to 1. But we do gain life here. Let's play. I could also find a Reacher here. Gotta go to combat first. 2 life might just be everything. Next turn with our land, we can definitely attack with the, or if we have a land next turn, we can definitely do that. I don't know if this coming in and play and attacking will make all the difference in the world. I guess go Glissa, have Anoint ready. I could be walking this into a board wipe. They haven't played very many board wipes in the past, but even if they do, I guess the Overlord can trigger. Because with Anoint, well, I guess that will count for the cost regardless. Now, obviously, another one of these does put quite a bit of damage on us here. Deep Cavern Bat coming in. Anoint was my answer regardless to things. Cannot answer another one of these anyway. So I might as well get that out of the road. And now they have to make a choice with this Archfiend. Obviously, they know my last card in hand. All right, there's a Bloodletter. I go to 2. All right. Well, we answered the board, so that's pretty interesting. We attack. They have to block Glissa or they lose the game. Whether they know about it or not. Okay, they lose the game. Remove 3 counters. Go ahead. In turn. Resolve. Very cool. They had to block Glissa. If they would have blocked Glissa with if they would have blocked Glissa there, we would have Tear Asunder this then. So we wouldn't have taken, I guess their creature would have died. It's only your opponent's creature. So then yeah, we wouldn't have had to do anything. But we would Tear Asunder this regardless because of our life total. But yeah. Very cool. We're going away with the dub. They didn't block the correct creature. Alright, so here we are. We have Golgari. We had some ups. We had some downs. We had some getting unholy annexed and losing. But I kind of wanted to play this deck without annex a bit. And there was a couple of lists from Columbus. This one specifically is another one of my friends' lists that they took up there running a 6-3 record. I'm not going to say the name just because they might not want it. I don't know. If they do, sure, whatever. I'll do it next time. But I said, yeah. I don't think they would care. It's the record on it. Yeah, because I'll link it to that list anyway. So this was played by TJ Radizak. He's one of my friends. Played up in Columbus or whatever. But that'll be where the deck list is obviously submitted to. There was another Golgari list that did higher and placed better. And actually, I think was 8-1 at the time. And I tried that on the best of 1 ladder, and it didn't feel near as good. I kind of got ran over, but that's been my experience with Golgari quite a bit lately. With, like, as you either play the Unholy Annex, and it's good, or you fall really far behind and you lose regardless, and it doesn't really matter. But here, we get to play one of my favorite cards. I love Mana Acceleration. It's, like, my favorite thing to do in kind of, like, the non-competitive scenes that I play Magic in, where it's, like, I'm not saying Commander doesn't have a competitive scene. I'm saying the way I play Commander and who I play Commander with, we're not CEDH Commander players. We are, but we're not at the same time. But I like playing Ramp. I always kind of have. Ramp is kind of where I'm at, whether it's putting in extra lands and kind of doing our thing or doing artifact type stuff. So Freestrider Lookout is just like everything I personally want in a card. The only downside is just like, I much rather this have been a 2-4 than a 3-3. That 4 toughness, making it able to dodge things like Lightning Strike and things like that is just so nice. The amount of creatures that just, like, for example, a 2-4 would be able to block a Mosswood. This cannot without them both dying, and a Mosswood's like a 2-mana 3-2, or just like the other random 3-2s that can kind of get there and things like that. It just kind of bothers me. But yeah, Dreams of Steel and Oil actually felt really good today. Really good against Hottigen piles as well. Because if you look at their hand and say, like, all they had in hand was a Picklock Prankster, but they had already milled over a Hottigen, you can, like, exile it. Even though we lost that matchup, I do feel like we were pretty close to getting there. They just had kind of a lot of things going for them. We didn't really put any pressure on the board like a Glissa or anything. Other than that, we also have 2 Duresses, and this is kind of the difference of stacking up on Duresses. Of course, Dreams of Steel and Oil can miss, but realistically, the way the meta is right now, I feel comfortable enough playing Dreams of Steel and Oil. Outside of that, we play Black Sun's Twilight. This is kind of over Disfigure for the most part, because up to 1 target creature gets XX, but if X is 5 or more, we can return the creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So that's very cool if you're like, Jeskai Convoke is like a really good example of this. If you get to the point that you can cast this for like X is 5 in that matchup, which sometimes you can because obviously we have a lot of removal, bringing back a Harvester of Misery as well as that, after like getting rid of their giant 4/4, you can get rid of that and then have Harvester answer everything else. So that's very cool. Kind of the same thing with like the Rabbits matchup or something else like that. And it is instant speed, and you can also just pay X is 0 because you just want to commit a crime. So it can just be like 1 black mana, target a thing, do nothing. 2 Anoints because Anoints are obviously good, and then the Go for Throats are great. And 2 Tear Asunders is like one of the best reasons to be playing green right now with kind of how the meta is. And 2 Up the Beanstalks, which we all probably know what that card does. But outside of that, just really solid creatures. Cutting kind of these to play more of these lookouts to get value on our lands and relying on them to win the game. And best of 3, it's a lot more of a reliable game plan than it is a best of 1. It's sometimes going to be pretty hard to get here. This also our control win con is bringing these up and attacking or finding the Fountainports and just out mana valuing them and hoping Virtue kind of sticks. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. I know this video isn't as long, I don't think, but hopefully the games are good. I think they're good. But I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.